Waffle Press Movie Podcast. I'm your host, Diego Crespo. We're a roundtable today, but you can't see us. We could be in a triangle. We could be in a rectangle. You won't know, because there's no cameras rolling today, but there is sound. Thanks to Gina Versa, my co-host.
That's right. I forgot all the equipment.
Yeah.
Now, what'd you do without me?
I would do it on a shittier.
You just do it on your phone.
I'd probably do it on my phone. You don't have to say it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Someone else here who knows about being behind cameras. That's the best thing I got to introduce you right now.
It's okay, dude. I'm okay with it.
How's it going?
I'm doing well.
Cruz. Sorry.
Hey, everybody, that's my name.
name.
My name is Cruz Castillo.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for having me on.
Oh, of course. It's glad to have you back, dude.
Yeah.
Is this my second or third?
Well,
third.
It's your third.
Because we had you at Undercity or something a while ago.
Yes.
And then we did.
Wow, that was years ago, huh? Yeah.
We finally started taking it seriously.
Yeah.
Oh my god. And then we had you on at the beginning of the year, at the end of the year.
Yes.
Yeah.
Whichever.
For the year recap. For the
That's
2018
right.
recap.
Yeah. How have you been? What's new with you?
Still living here?
We're still living here. Still living with Gene.
Guys, stop ruining the magic.
Gene, Sebastian, Kyle, and Daniel. Shout out to my roommates.
Give them the address.
245.
No.
I'm working on a web series called LA.
Mhm.
We got that greenlit. It's a beautiful project about beautiful people in a beautiful city.
Congrats.
I'll put a cheer in the background too, because I think the clap will ruin the audio.
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that. And it's just about it's basically about how expensive it is to be poor. And then I work doing my podcast for the National Hispanic Media Coalition. So you guys should check that out. We have a lot of cool guests on there. We have a lot of cool and interesting people, and some that are a little crazy and some that are a little wild, and it makes for some good conversation.
Crazy is our middle name.
Yeah. I was one of the crazy ones, right?
You were.
Oh.
Well, you guys hosted your own episode, so
technically
that wasn't mine.
Yeah, there we go.
That was you guys. You guys can check out Gene on his own episode of NHMC's podcast. It's a Your Voice. I think it's the Waffle Press.
The Waffle Press.
Takeover podcast, something like that.
Yes. We'll put a link in.
Extra syrup, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll put links down to everything down below. Does LA have a website?
Yeah, it does. www.latheshow.com. We are going to be filming within the next 2 to 3 months. This is a passion project right now, just to make the first episode. Yeah. So we need any and all help. If anybody feels passionate to just want to be involved and help out and bring something wonderful to life, we'd really appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. Links again down below, so you can check that out. Can't wait to see the fruits of your guys' labor. I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, me too. I can't wait to see it too.
No, you guys will kill. You guys will kill it.
Yeah.
Or crush it.
Thank you.
Kill it.
Yeah.
Support. I'm supporting you.
Either way, it's positive.
For
right?
everything you showed me of it, I'm really excited to see it personally. So.
Thank you. Yeah.
What else I'm excited about is talk about today's episode, but also plugs off the top. So in case I don't want to do them later, I could say I did them already.
There you go.
Like the Patreon, where you could support Gene and I and the rest of the Waffle Press, so we could have more opportunities to do this. Stop having to pay for editing equipment out of pocket. We already funded the SoundCloud with the Patreon support, which has been very helpful. So thank you for everyone who's donated to that. Yeah, so it'd be really great if this was self-sustaining. That would give us more opportunities to bring on more guests, more time to do this, more episodes. Check out other stuff we got going on. Gene and I are bringing back Talk All Monsters in honor of Godzilla, King of Monsters. King of the Monsters?
It's King of
There's
the
a
Monsters.
lot of monsters, and there's a king. It's Godzilla, and he's going to eat people, probably.
Yeah, it's the king, man.
Yeah, but on today's episode, we're going to talk about a couple things. First up, we will be talking about movies we saw throughout March, 3 specifically, and if we have time, anything else you guys caught that you want to highlight.
Can I pause really quick?
Yeah.
I want to take it back to what you said about your Patreon. To anybody and everybody listening, it's great to see 2 artists of color making and running their own podcast.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So they work really hard. It's been years, and with that said, it takes a village. Yeah. So if you guys can be that village, step up and help these guys so they can create great content, get the word out there, and change the narrative for people of color talking about the entertainment industry.
Yeah.
What's your thing on your flyers? Not the white guy? Or
we gotta reprint those because it's been a while. But on these flyers we had at LA Comic Con like 2 years ago.
2 years ago, yeah.
It was good.
It was we're not just a bunch of white guys.
Yes.
Look, I know a bunch of white guys doing podcasts, and I like them. But there's a lot of white guys doing podcasts, and we're not.
Like
very saturated.
I've already seen it.
Yeah.
We've already seen that narrative. So
a majority of podcasts out there I remember my mother actually went to a convention in Colorado about podcasting, and majority of it, and it's like a fat chunk, like more than half, like double more. I'm saying 70s and 80s is white men.
And it's true. I mean, that's why, again, Gene and I are basically funding this out of pocket for the most part right now. So it's harder to bring on guests when we don't really have a home base to do the studio. But that's why Gene and I have been very lucky to be able to reach out to other people in the film community, in front, behind the camera, behind the criticism and analysis side of things. It allows us to bring on disparate voices, different voices that we wouldn't be able to have the opportunity on anyways. And we'd like to be able to keep doing that.
Yeah.
Yep.
And speaking of race and politics, let's jump into the first subject today. S. Craig Zahler is a really talented white writer who deals with a lot of modern exploitation, pulp, kind of violent. A lot of his stuff, all of his stuff is very, very violent.
Yeah.
I've read a handful of his scripts before they made it to the screen, and I'm very impressed with his work. And he wants to make it clear that he wants the movies to speak for themselves. He's apolitical. He doesn't want to focus on the left or the right. It doesn't make sense then that you cast Mel Gibson and Vince Vaughn twice. Right. He's cast Vince Vaughn as a lead. The characters in his films are predominantly bad people. They're clearly doing bad things to less bad people. Sometimes even good people. And he wants the narratives to focus on their actions and their comeuppance. And a lot of the bad people do get their comeuppance in that. You know, he's focusing on like institutions. So like he gets enough of it to be able to provoke responses from people.
Right.
But he needs to understand that as a white guy with this privilege, thank you, that nothing you do is apolitical. And I think he's smart enough to realize that.
Right.
But he's also still doing it.
Exactly.
I remember what were you going to say?
I was just going to say, it's not apolitical when you hire, like, an anti-Semite as your lead in Mel Gibson, you know? Yeah. There's nothing apolitical about that. You know?
I always think about that tweet that Jimmy Fallon said where, I think it was around the time of Trump, and Trump was on his show. And people were really, like, reaming into him about having Trump on his show. And
tussling his hair.
Yeah, and normalizing Trump. And normalizing the hate speech that Trump spews all the time. I think Jimmy Fallon, like, I think he tweeted something about, like, I don't really worry about politics, or politics don't affect me, or that I don't like think or see things politically, and it's like that right there, that ability for you to tweet that is white privilege in and of itself, and that alone is why you can think that and feel that,
because it doesn't. At the end of the day, it doesn't affect him as like a rich white guy, you know, and it's just like. You know, all these people are like, oh, you know, I don't care for politics, because it doesn't fucking affect you, you know, your life. You know, when you say like when you put certain people on your show, on like, you know, when you put like someone like Donald Trump on your show, you're normalizing them. That's like political in itself. So it's like, don't say that bullshit.
Because it's also impossible for you to be apolitical or like be out of politics, because politics exists whether you want it to exist or not, and it's just we all live in a form of a governed system, and we all have to follow set rules and regulations in order to best work and be coexisting with each other, and to hopefully be copacetic with each other. Yeah. But that's not always the case. And in that, the system of power politically that has lifted these white guys to say, I can be apolitical or politics doesn't affect me, in and of itself is the politics.
Yeah.
That's why you have that power to say and do that and feel that.
Yeah, and I really appreciated the other side of that coin is Samuel Jackson, where he was just, I loved his like interview where he's just like went to town. It's like, because he's like, oh, they tell me like, what did he say like about, he talks about Trump, and he's like, fine, don't see my movie. I don't give a fuck. I already cashed the check. You know, it's like, you know, they're saying just be an actor. Well, I'm a fucking human being. It's like, this shit affects me. It's like, and you're telling me don't care about my life? You know?
Yeah, I mean, that's like
I really appreciate.
Counterpoint.
Yeah, I really appreciate that statement. Yeah,
I guess I should also list some films that he's done, which everything I've seen of his, I've been a big fan of. Bone Tomahawk, which is a great little weird Western flick with one of the hardest to watch violent scenes I've ever seen in a film. Friend of the show and listener Dan Doherty watched it for the first time, and he said he threw up, and he tweeted at me saying, I didn't sign up for this, so Dan, I apologize again. I'm glad you enjoyed the rest of it, though.
Wasn't that the return of what's his name?
Kurt Russell.
Yeah, but his handlebar mustache.
Oh yeah.
Handlebar Renaissance.
Pre Guardians 2, so that's when it came back to the
But
first
he was
time.
pretty much what's his name again? Gunslinger, Tombstone.
Wyatt Earp.
Yeah.
Wyatt Earp. He was
Yeah.
pretty much Wyatt Earp again.
Yeah.
Basically.
But even that film, you know, like the villains of that are cannibalistic tribe of Native Americans. But even they have a Native American character in the movie who's living in the town who's like, "Oh, those aren't my people. Like those are like weird mutated versions and stuff. Like they're not human." And it's like he's trying to separate the political from like the story, but it still doesn't. It's still like othering them. And it's just like, man.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
It's divisive.
Brawl in Cell Block 99's the one he did with Vince Vaughn prior to this, and it is about like how hell is institutionalized with the prison system and law and order and crime. Like it's a cycle of violence that
Is that still a white guy that's a lead?
It's still a white guy that's a lead.
Okay.
It's very clear that he understands the nature of these systems, but then he's like provoking specific things by having white guys.
Yeah.
Like as his leads and doing certain things in his films, you know. Another film that I did find myself thinking was very well made, but like kind of like tugging at my shirt collar, like.
Can I ask you a question? Because I didn't get it. I don't know. Was he like a skinhead, Vince Vaughn?
He's a skinhead.
Okay.
He's clearly like
shaved head in the poster, right?
Shaved head, that certain tattoo in the back of his skull, and like that's more than an appropriate reaction to that movie. You know, if someone said like that was just uncomfortable to watch, you'd be like, yeah. I wouldn't recommend that to anybody because of the subject matter and the way the world. If the world was better off and this was like just straight exploitation, if there was a way to be possibly apolitical, if the world was just that well off, then I think that'd be fine, you know. But it's not, and I think that's an important discussion to have.
Like, what's apolitical of rock?
Yeah.
Like, how could you be? You know, I don't know. It's like, what's apolitical anyway? Like, what does that even mean?
You know what? At the end of the day, if it was possible to be apolitical, given our current state of the world, you're gonna be fucking boring. That's what it is, I think. You know, and then the big point of discussion, his latest film that he wrote and directed, Dragged Across Concrete, Dragged Across Concrete, excuse me, starring Mel Gibson and Vince Vaughn, is about two cops who are pulled out of active duty because they use excessive force on a Mexican gang member. And it's very clear that it's like trying to provoke, like, oh man, people are too PC nowadays. Yeah, and like the way the film plays out, if it's similar to the script, they definitely get their comeuppance and they do not walk away. Spoiler alert. And they clearly suffer for their actions. Cops? Yeah, they clearly suffer for their actions, but it's like he's still leading them down this path, and he's not. The film doesn't criticize them for their actions. They just end up not making it through the story. So it's like. He's like almost there. I think he could do it someday. But until he has this conversation, he's not going to be able to like reach his full potential as an artist even. Yeah,
or if he's like even able to listen to that critique of his work. Like I feel like I don't know if he'd be even open to be like,
that's
you're kind of racist, dude.
Like you can't just be tossing this stuff around and not taking responsibility for those actions. So
low key.
I just think that's an important thing to talk about, and I hope it works out for the best. But you know,
that's a part of criticism, right? To bring awareness to these things that these other quote unquote apolitical people don't notice.
Yeah,
because it doesn't affect them, which it does. Because there's no way you can tell a story and be apolitical. It's like impossible.
Yeah,
your story is a product, just like you are a product of whatever political system you belong to. Regardless of whether you acknowledge it influences you, it does influence you.
Yeah. Exactly. Speaking of apolitical, I'll move on to the next subject unless you guys have anything else on that.
No, bring it.
I watched the Netflix film Triple Frontier, written by Mark Bowl, the writer of Detroit, which I did not see, Zero Dark 30, which I did see, and I believe The Hurt Locker, which I also did see. Yes. Two very good Catherine Bigelow films that are maybe a little underwritten. And so Triple Frontier, my quick take is that it is also a little underwritten. There's interesting stuff in it for sure. But again, it kind of like wants to veer away from like I don't want to make any commentary about how soldiers are kind of like broken by being products of war, the drug system.
They can never really stop.
Yeah, like it's clearly trying to be like a genre piece through and through without acknowledging that. But then it makes it feel kind of hollow through certain points. Did you guys see Triple Frontier?
I did.
Okay. Cruz, you're the guest. What did you think of Triple Frontier?
Put you on the spot.
Yeah, sorry.
No, it's cool. I was entertained. So I was in it. Like I remember it was more than 2 hours, right?
Yeah, it's like
It's 2
I think it's
hours
like 2 hours flat.
Yeah.
It's a,
So I was
got a
like-
runtime.
Yeah, I was like, all right, cool, bringing back the 2-hour films. So I was in it. I like the actors, and I like the projects I've seen them in before. I like that there was 2 Latino leads.
Yeah.
I like that Oscar Isaac and Pedro Pascal are friends in real life.
Yeah, The Mandalorian.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
The Mandalorian and what's his name? Poe Dameron.
Poe Dameron. Yeah.
They're
Oh,
technically-
Oscar Isaac?
Yeah.
No, Oscar Isaac's...
Poe
yeah,
Dameron.
Poe Dameron.
Yeah.
Latinos taking over space.
That's right.
Yeah, so they're technically in the same universe, roughly around the same time. If I think the Mandalorian.
Yeah, the Mandalorian could still be alive. Yeah,
And
'cause-
Poe.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
it could be.
So that's cool. If you guys ever get a chance to watch their GQ interview together,
Mhm.
GQ does a lot of interviews where it shows actors and they read stuff like the most cool stuff about them.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're actually really funny together. You can tell they're friends. They have like
that's
a
good.
they have a bromance going on. It's really
Nice.
cute. I thought they did a good job. I thought Oscar did a great job. Ben Affleck, I was like, whoa, all right. Ben Affleck was all right.
Yeah.
He was good.
Are you still a big like Affleck fan? Like,
No, I'm just a big
some of the
Affleck
stuff-
being Batman fan.
Yeah.
I think Affleck looks like Batman out of Michael Keaton,
Yeah.
Christian Bale, and Ben Affleck. Ben Affleck looks the most like Bruce Wayne and Batman
Yeah.
in and out of the costume.
Okay.
He got the, not to derail the conversation already, but he got the short end of the stick with that universe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
poor guy.
He did, yeah. But I mean, that's the closest the DC, in my opinion, has ever gotten to
Yeah,
a good version of
For sure.
looking wise.
like he looks like a Jim Lee drawing.
Yeah, he does look like a Jim
Oh,
Lee
that's
drawing.
good.
Jin Lee's at WonderCon
Yes.
currently, right?
Yeah.
And you're going soon?
I'm going to WonderCon tomorrow. Me and my girlfriend are going.
Hell yeah.
Oh, are we dating this episode by saying that?
Probably, but who cares? That's
Okay.
fine. That's fine. We're just hanging out.
Yeah. The idea of the frontier being a Latin American country, no, I'm not for that.
Yeah.
I'm tired of that happening. Like, honestly, I love Narcos.
Yeah.
I think that's a really good show. Acting, everything, written, like even the camera work, to even the way the storytelling's done, from like showing sometimes, like especially with Michael Peña's second season, first season, I thought that was really good. But normally aside from that, because I feel like those are historical pieces, that's how I write it off in my mind. I'm tired of Latin America being the backdrop of like violence and this like still this untamed Wild West that
Yeah.
white
Yeah.
Americans can go and explore and have fun and do villainous gunslinging things and live
Like it's
these-
fetishizing it.
it's fetishizing,
Yeah.
yes. So that was like the one qualm I had. That was the biggest qualm I had. But yeah, I agree with you. Actually, I feel like there was a lot more. There was stuff in that story that you were kind of like, oh, cool, and then there was a lot that wasn't.
Yeah.
That was left to like. I mean, the ending was all right.
Yeah, I think it's fine.
I was like, oh, that's cool.
I want to give Gene the chance to speak, but there are moments that we can talk about. Gene, go ahead, but then after
Well,
I'm going to
I mean,
say for spoilers,
yeah, I feel
click
like
ahead to the time code down below.
no, I feel like you guys pretty much summed it up. Like, I don't have anything to add to. I like that director.
J.C. Chandor, who's a very talented director. I think people should stop working with Mark Bull until he figures out a way to stop underwriting and stuff. I don't know. I respect the hustle. I'm not gonna shit talk the artist, but
yeah.
All Is Lost is good.
I really like All Is Lost.
What's the movie he did with Oscar Isaac and Jessica Chastain?
Most Violent Year.
Most Violent
It's
Year.
a very
That's a
good
really
movie,
underrated
yeah.
movie. He's a good director.
That was a good movie.
It was, yeah.
Oscar Isaac kills it.
He does.
Yeah,
Like, I can't think of a role I didn't think he was like.
Yeah, no, that dude was built to be like a movie star.
Oh, Sucker Punch.
Yeah.
He's good, man.
Yeah, I'm not saying the movie overall. I'm talking about him, like what he
okay.
does.
Sure.
Like even in Drive, one of the first ones I remember seeing him in. Like his role was short compared to the rest of the film, but
Yeah, I
I
remember.
still thought it was good.
That's the movie that got me like into film criticism because I remember watching it and
Oh,
being
yeah?
like the only person in my friend group who loved it, and I was like, "Why is this? Why did it do this to my brain? Why did it not do it to yours?" And
Oh, really?
yeah. And so he was like one of the parts of it. I was like, "God, he was so good, and he does like nothing.
He does nothing. Yeah.
Like spoiler alert, he just like dies in the
Yeah.
movie." But,
Spoiler alert, that movie's like over 5 years old now, right?
Yeah.
people complain
Should
about
have
a lot of
seen
stuff.
it by now.
But no, like yeah, like there's things in the movie that really work. Like I think it's clear that the film doesn't endorse the acts that they do in what country? They didn't even say what country it was. Now. Was
No,
it? Just
no,
like
no.
nebulous, like
It's bad
South
geography
America.
and film.
Uh-huh.
so.
Well, all those
apparent-
guys are brown and
Yeah,
truck
it's just
Lord.
like
Come on.
come on, man.
Yeah.
It's 2019. What
Yeah.
the fuck? Triple Frontier is supposed to relate, and I do not endorse this, but it's supposed to relate like some geographic location of like 3 separate countries in South America. I know that, but I don't even remember what those countries are, and that might be on me. But the film doesn't help it either.
I think it's definitely past the border of Mexico.
Okay.
We're definitely like in South America.
Yeah.
And then in top of South America, before you hit to like Peru and Brazil, there's like a lot of Venezuela, Guatemala, like Colombia, I think all those. Mm-hmm. And I think that's why I kind of just like somewhere there.
Which is the fault of the film, for sure.
Yeah.
And I don't think it endorses the act of them like stealing from the cartel, and then like how badly they fuck up when that started happening. I was like, oh, we're going here. Mm-hmm. I think I'm into this. Mm-hmm. And then it kind of just like doesn't really. Times, you know? When
they met the villagers, that was cool.
Yeah.
And then to see what the villagers did after, I also thought that was cool.
Yeah. And so when, again, spoilers, click down below to move on to the next segment of the show. Ben Affleck just bites it. And I was like, oh, fuck yeah, we're going here. Yeah. They're going to suffer for their actions.
Yes.
I was in, man. But then, like, it so often falls back on the idea of just like, oh, the brotherhood of soldiers and like, hoo-ah, brotherhood. Yeah, we're going to get through this together. Yeah, and then it ends on like that optimistic note about like, ooh, we got through this. You know, not everyone made it out, but, you know, at the end of the day, we're soldiers and we're brotherhood. And I was like, you're ending the film there? After everything? That's weird.
Yeah. And then he was like, go find that girl in Australia. And he was like, hoorah.
Yeah, and I was like, I think we gotta start having a more serious conversation about how we portray that stuff in war.
Because it's kind of like toxic.
Yeah,
toxic,
you know, and
for sure, especially
because I feel like, you know,
toxic masculinity all the way.
Yeah, relevant, but like I feel like the Punisher handled that really well.
Are you talking about
the Punisher show?
What's his name? Yeah, the show.
Yeah, where it's like he's kind of that character, but he's not like a toxic dude. I would say, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Really off topic.
No. I think it's right on topic. Actually, you're talking about toxic
because that's how you should handle the character, where it's like he's very affected by the war. He doesn't like. He feels like they undercut all these people. He's very disillusioned with his country.
Yeah. These guys were a little bit still proud to be like Uncle Sam's little right-hand man.
Right. And the fact that they even had to like do this to like stay afloat financially, I think speaks volumes about how veterans are treated, you know. And like at the end of the day, I don't blame the soldiers. I blame the institution of war.
For sure.
But the film doesn't blame the institution of war. It's just like, man, that didn't work out. It's crazy.
I'm also thinking, why is Ben Affleck driving a big ass like Ford truck, like gas guzzling shit? Like, you're worrying about your budget, bro. Why are you driving that big ass truck, man? That's expensive.
As a character flaw, I kind of like that though, because I mean, Ben Affleck has this weird like meta nature to him now, where it's like, you know, he was on Cloud 9, married to Jennifer Garner, beat Batman, Oscar-winning director, and then like now it's kind of to rebuild himself up. You know, not to get too serious, but it's like, you know, Ben Affleck is sad. Affleck's kind of the thing right now. You know,
and so. He's always had a history like that, though, no, right?
I think it's severely worse now. Not that it wasn't there before.
Like just because he got higher stakes.
Well, I was just going to say, you know, it's unfortunate, like, his alcoholism and all that.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, that's real? I don't know. I don't know.
Not to get all, like, gossip and stuff, but, like, I'm glad it looks like he's going back to work and, like, getting help. Jennifer Garner apparently is
terrible disease.
Really helping him through it, too, and that's good for him. Wish him the best.
Yeah.
But I love that, like, before we move on, because this movie really isn't that much worth talking about beyond this. It's fine.
No, but it's great because you're finding stuff. We're finding things within it. Yeah.
But I just love because it was like when it opened with a Metallica song, I was like, oh, we're going full fucking like early 2000s like action joint.
Yeah, it's in the helicopter and he's just looking down and stuff.
And it's totally one of those movies, but everyone's tired and sad.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh fuck yeah! Like I loved that.
You know what? That is a good saying. I literally rooted for nobody in that movie. Mm-hmm. I didn't root for anybody because everybody was just tired. Things were just happening. Mm-hmm. I didn't root for anybody. Mm-hmm. Even Oscar Isaac going to find that girl in Australia, I was kind of like, no,
who gives a fuck?
Alright, go find her.
The one thing I want to leave off on, what I think is genuinely like an amazing moment in the film, was when to stay warm to survive, they had to start burning the cash.
Oh yeah,
I was like, oh, this is the shit.
The moment between
but like it melds the thing about like brotherhood, but also just like, man, this was clearly a mistake. Let's just get through this and move on with their lives. That I was like, fuck yeah, that's the movie I came to see. Mm-hmm. And then it kind of peters out after that. But,
because they became overzealous. Because they were trying to take too much. And then because they took too much, those split seconds slowed everything down. Yeah. And it led to this domino effect.
Exactly. R.I.P. Ben Affleck's character, who just got fucking when that happened, I was like, oh damn.
Yeah.
But, oh well.
Yeah.
But then even Oscar Isaac came in and said like it's not their fault. Like he was understanding it, and I was like that was cool to show. Maybe a little bit of his Latinidad. He was understanding.
Yeah.
There are moments in the film where it's like it hints at something greater.
Yeah.
And it's just like fun in the long run. But if you got Netflix, I would recommend checking it out. I can't be like rush you to go check it out. But
Yeah.
it's a movie that's on there.
It's a movie.
It's a movie.
It's certainly a movie.
You will be entertained. I was like, I followed it through. I was never like.
I was never bored.
Yeah, I was never bored.
I thought it looked kind of flat, just cinematography wise, and then the rain stuff looked cool, and that's all I got.
You know what's a good movie? Captain Marvel.
Is it?
Yes.
I'm just kidding. Do you want to lead it then, since you?
Yeah. A movie I was a background in.
Oh,
For
that's
sure.
right. The
Dude, I was
disclosure.
looking for you in the scenes, man.
Yeah. So I'm in this background spoiler in.
But are you genuinely in it? Because I
Uh,
looked, I didn't see you.
I know I'm in that reaction shot. I'm in the scene, the flashback of young Carol Danvers when she crashes the go-kart. I'm one of the people gawking at her like.
Are you wearing the brown jacket?
You'd have to freeze frame it to see me.
You gotta wait till it comes down DVD.
Wait till, yeah, so you can see me. So I'm in that. If anyone knows. So I'm gonna support the movie I'm in.
No spoilers right here for like give quick thoughts and then
Yeah.
Cruz quick thoughts and then
Okay.
me quick thoughts and then we'll get into spoilers.
Right. I really enjoyed it. I felt this is a movie Marvel should have came out with in Phase 1 because if they have Wonder Woman, like Kevin Feige, under Ike Perlmutter, it's understandable, but it's cool to see the first like feminist like Marvel film and kind of like a good like feminist movie in general. And it was very nuanced. I really appreciated its themes, the changes it made to certain characters without spoiling it, and just it was a fun movie. It was great, and like it showed the monotony of the '90s. Like, man, are we really nostalgic about Blockbuster? $10 for 3 rentals for a night or 2 nights?
It was like 2 to 3 nights.
It's 2 or 3 nights.
Don't
It's
rag
like-
on it. You could do it for a weekend.
Okay,
It was
there you
like
go.
Friday night to Sunday night.
Okay, but anyway, I liked it. It was good.
Cruz.
I agree with Gene that it is a movie they should have done Phase 1, and I think because they didn't, I actually thought it was more boring to be now. Because I was like, these are kind of like some tropes and some things that I feel like we'd already done, and I feel like it wasn't as special as it should have been, especially because it was a feminist movie. Especially because it premiered on, what is it, National Women's Day? Or
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
good, yeah.
Yeah.
they planned that stuff out, man. Just like they planned Black Panther to be during
Black
Black
History
History
Month.
Month.
Yeah.
There you
Hey
go.
man,
Someone's there,
capitalism's
dude.
got its problems, but they're doing it right.
So, yeah, they're figuring something out, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was good though overall. I am excited to see how this powerhouse plays into the next phase and to the second Endgame. Yeah, I thought Larson did really good. It was really cool to see young Coulson and young
Nick
Fury. Yeah.
I was going to ask you something really quick.
What?
The digital de-aging for Nick Fury's face, amazing. But when he runs, he still has like an old man run, right?
That's right. You did talk about that. Yeah.
Yeah, I told you that. He has that old man run. It's like you could change
He's
his
70,
face.
dog. I mean,
It's like, but like, man, get a body double for that guy. It's like you can't. Yeah, you can't fake that.
I'll learn to overlook it because he's calling out Trumpers. So
Yeah, for sure. I just thought that was like the funniest thing.
the de-aging's
it's
amazing in
It's
that.
amazing,
yeah. It was great to see that the Skrulls were a total commentary on a specific type of people that exist trying to find homes in other countries. It's a total
I
commentary
guess
on
there's
that.
spoilers for this now. Then.
Right, I guess.
Yeah, that's fine. No,
Oh,
go
damn,
ahead,
my bad.
No, go ahead.
I'm trying to say
Spoilers,
it.
spoilers.
Yeah, it's a total commentary on immigrants and the fact that the Skrulls physically look
like
ugly.
Yeah, they're other.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
other.
They're not traditionally like
Yeah.
what we perceive as
Right.
good looking.
Because in the original comics, The Kree Skull War, I believe that both the sides are like supposed to be equally as bad.
Yeah, that's a spoiler alert for the comics.
And
too.
honestly, I think it's time to do away with that. Just
Right.
because, again, like if our fantasies are and fiction's going to replicate like reality in some capacity, we got to acknowledge that not both sides are equally bad.
exactly.
You know, sometimes you end up with the GOP.
Yeah.
Pretty easy to gain like the upper hand in terms of like empathy there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I really appreciated that change because like I remember someone saying like, "Oh, I don't like how they did the scrolls. I want Secret Invasion." I'm like, they're are you a scroll stan? Like you're like that obsessed with like the scrolls? Like who cares? Like
these movies aren't here to repeat your comics.
Yeah,
They're here to take certain elements,
Mhm.
but they're here to be their own separate entities
Mhm.
that just happen to be similar to what you like.
Yeah, and
Like, why do you want to see the same thing replicated already too?
Secret
Yeah.
Invasion
Like, that's
is not that great. So not a good comic.
I mean, even in terms of like the Secret Invasion stuff,
Mhm.
the Hydra arc in Winter Soldier with
It's
them being
based-
like in the government already, that's the same thing. You'd be
It's
repeating
basically
a
that.
similar plot, you know?
Yeah.
Like, what do you give a fuck?
So
about
I
that?
felt like having the
These movies are-
scrolls be allegories for like refugees. That's even
Refugees.
stronger
Yep.
than like
They're
the
just looking
Secret
for a home.
Invasion. Yeah, they just went home, and it plays against your expectations and all that. And that's great filmmaking and great storytelling. So fuck being comic book accurate for that particular aspect.
Plus, they also made you laugh at the scrolls since the beginning. The leader, I can't remember his name.
Oh,
Talos.
Talos. Ben
Talos,
Nelson's
yeah.
is great.
Which
oh,
I think,
he's so
I love
good.
that.
which I thought is what made you were laughing at villains,
Mhm.
what you were perceiving as villains in the beginning, and I just like the plot twist that it was somebody else that was the villain,
Mhm.
and I thought that was cool because I remember seeing people like next to me like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Not even just somebody else. Like, if I may right now, just like, we got to look at what they're saying too. The pretty white dude, Jude Law,
Mhm.
is the antagonist of the film. He's not the ultimate villain for Captain Marvel, but
Yeah.
in this film, he is
The
her
villain.
direct
Right.
antagonist.
Yeah,
Yes.
and the fact that he was manipulating her,
Mhm.
Yeah.
like I thought, I don't know.
That
Why does
speaks to something about, I think, the feminist angle on the film. In
Yes,
terms of how
I
like,
love that.
women are like perceived to be like constructed for like
for men.
for the patriarchy, basically.
Yeah.
That's really what it is, and like and how we tell them what to do
Mhm.
and stuff like that. You
That was
know.
good.
And-
That was-
yeah, that was. I went to see it with Mariana, and that was her comment
Mhm.
that she liked that. She shot him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I love.
she
I
was
was gonna
like,
say,
I
I
don't
love
prove
that
anything
scene
to
where it's
you.
like he's like, "Oh, let's fight here," and she's like, "No,
Fuck that.
I don't have anything to prove to you. Fuck
Yeah.
you."
Mhm. That was awesome.
That was amazing.
Yeah.
I guess
Just
real
fucking
quick,
blast him.
just because I have thoughts on this film.
Yeah.
I thought it looked kind of boring.
Mm.
I was like, oh, Brie Larson's a worthy Oscar-winning actress, like one of the few who like probably deserves it in the history of Oscar winners.
Right. Room's great.
She's great. But I was like, I don't know about this, and then I saw it opening weekend, and I was like, this was really good.
Yeah.
It's got a problem the other Marvel movies have, but like
Sure.
whatever. If those aren't breaking the other movies for you, it's weird that this one is breaking
Yeah.
it for some people.
And the
Uh,
yeah, I was
go ahead.
gonna say the worst fucking take I've ever heard was like, well, she's too wooden. It's like she's a fucking brainwashed character.
Yeah, she's
She's
discovering
what?
herself as
Oh,
the movie
people are
goes
like,
on.
oh, she's too like what do they keep
That
saying?
she doesn't have enough to play in the first half of the movie.
They're saying like she's wooden
But it's
because
like she's brainwashed into
she's
being
a
a soldier.
brainwashed character. That's the
Yeah.
whole point.
Yeah, that she has no personality. She's just a figure
Like she has
of
no
war.
personality. It's like
Yeah.
that's
Yeah. That's
she's
the point of the
brainwashed.
movie. You
it's the
cannot
fact that she's a mindless soldier.
you
That's
cannot
just- sorry.
enjoy that. Like, that could be a valid criticism for someone, maybe, but like at least acknowledge that it's intentional.
Well, I was
for
gonna
the
say
film.
it's intentional, but it's like when it's coming from some white dude.
Oh yeah.
You
Which
know.
we will get to white
Yeah.
criticisms in the next segment. but-
Yeah, that's what I'm
Uh,
waiting for.
Exactly.
I just
Me
want
too.
to say a little bit more on Captain Marvel really
Yeah.
quick. It's got great science fiction writing. I won't get a new Star Trek movie for the foreseeable future, unfortunately, and this filled a very big Star Trek hole in my heart.
Mhm.
I love Star Trek, and how they handled the Skrulls was very reminiscent of like TNG.
Yeah.
And, maybe even the original series stuff there.
Right.
The action and stuff. I know people are big fans. The Russo brothers, I think, forgot how to shoot action after the Winter Soldier. And for this, the action's not groundbreaking, but like it's framed, it's edited clearly, it's centered, so it's easy to follow. You know,
Exactly.
and the fact that there's no big villain throwdown, it's just her being like, I have nothing left to prove. I know who I am now,
Mhm.
and then blowing him away after
Amazing.
Jude Law basically makes the supervillain version of Debate Me. Was
Yeah, he's
awesome.
Ben Shapiro.
It was awesome.
Also, too, taking on the Accuser.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
I feel
yeah,
like that
yeah,
was
yeah.
like they were trying to throw in another villain, and that villain was like, "Oh, we're out. Fuck this shit.
Yeah.
We out."
I expected The Long Kiss Goodnight, a great mystery action thriller film from the 90s, starring Samuel L. Jackson in a similar role to this film, as well as an amnesia adventure story.
Mhm.
So when I didn't get that in Captain Marvel first, I was like, okay, let me adjust because that's not what the movie's doing. but he's still like a great supporting character. I
fact that-
really love the Flurkin also.
All about Goose.
Goose is
I
the
love Goose.
shit.
I want to adopt him.
I
Or
love-
her. It's a her.
Her.
Yeah.
I love the
Goose is
Flurkin, and I was actually very surprised because I heard a lot of backlash about how Nick Fury loses his eye in this movie.
Okay,
I was
yeah.
bracing
You want to
myself
talk about
for
that? Yeah.
Yeah, because I actually thought like, oh, that's hilarious.
Because it's established Nick Fury lies in Avengers, which you lied about Coulson's thing. It's established in the movie he embellishes stories. And it's not really a lie when he's like, oh, someone I trusted. He did trust Goose.
Yeah.
And he scratched his eye.
I also think it establishes that throughout all the movies, Nick Fury has been the spy.
Yeah.
Tony Stark even comments on that, like, what, 2 or 3 times? Like,
Yeah.
he is the spy. And even, like, Spider-Man in the trailer turns around in Spider-Man, what is it, Far From Home?
Far From Home.
Yeah.
Oh, they really like that home.
Yeah.
He turns around, there's, like, Nick Fury in the shadows in a seat, like Diego's sitting right now.
Don't ruin the
and
magic.
he just, like, shot that kid, but, like, tranquilizer, obviously, but still, like, Nick Fury is the spy. He's the spy's spy.
I really can't believe how much I missed him, and I didn't even realize it in this universe. I think the movies have significantly lost something without Nick Fury since Age of Ultron.
Yeah.
And that's there have been some really great ones. My favorite one came Guardians 2 has no Nick Fury, but I'm just saying, like, for the Avengers specific stuff, it was nice to be reminded, like, oh my god, this was a really great character, and how he does embellish his stories, and how he believes, even though he's in the spy game, he's worked with, like, the CIA and the FBI, probably, notoriously not great agencies.
No. Yeah.
He's someone who believes in, like, the betterment of these heroes and, like, how they can represent the best of us, and that's such a great character, and I'm glad that Samuel L. Jackson's basically down to do them for the rest of his career.
Do it the rest
And
of his life.
she's also the Avenger of the Avengers. She is,
Oh,
Yeah.
she gets
She's their
done
Superman. Man.
yeah,
That's
she's
awesome.
She
there.
inspired them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she is the reason for them.
So everything I was worried about, I basically was more than happy with. I came away very happy from this movie.
Oh, that's
No,
cool.
me too,
That's
yeah.
awesome.
I loved it. I saw it twice. Yeah.
I only saw it once, but
I saw it. I think I saw it twice.
Yeah.
I did see it twice.
Oh.
I fell asleep the second time, but that's because it was late,
Okay, I get that.
and I was running before,
It's okay.
Alright.
so
It's okay.
Something I haven't seen twice, but I really want to see twice is
I need
Jordan
to see
Peele's next film, or
Oh.
just released film, Us.
yeah.
Yes.
There's
So let's get right
look.
into it.
I'm just
There's a
gonna
lot
talk
to
some
say.
spoilers because we're not gonna. It's hard to talk about this one without that.
No spoilers.
No, we're
We're
talking
gonna
full
full
spoilers here.
spoilers.
Oh, yeah.
All the
Uh,
spoilers.
Hey,
We all liked it. That's the thing. That's the least spoiler we can get.
yeah. Turn off right now if you don't want spoilers.
Yeah, please go see it.
Yeah.
Because this is probably going to remain the best film of 2019, in my opinion. It'll be an amazing year for film if this is not the best, like, hands down.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Gene, you led the last one. Cruz, let's go back to you.
Yeah,
What
I
did you think
thought
of Jordan Peele's Us?
Oh, lead? Did I lead? I
Oh,
led one, didn't I?
You led,
you
oh,
led-
yeah, but you're the guest. It's all
Yeah.
good.
Okay.
If you want to hand it off by
yeah.
names, but
I don't know. So far,
Okay. Do you need a second?
I do.
Okay.
No, I got it.
Okay.
Jordan
I was
Peele.
just trying to be polite.
Yeah.
Thank you. Jordan Peele can do no wrong in my eyes so far.
Exactly.
He's like
God.
he's like a Donald Glover of filmmaking. Him and Donald Glover should team up. You heard it here first.
Yeah.
They
He
should team up
opened
and
Get
do
Out
some-
with Redbone.
With Redbone, yeah. And that was probably him saying, "Yo, Donald Glover, what's up? Come over here."
I'd like to see that.
God, Jordan Peele. I mean, I'm excited for the Twilight Zone. Never anybody
Monday?
more that I ever wanted to see lead this Twilight Zone than him.
Oh,
Yeah.
this
I think this is
movie
perfect.
cemented it. Like this series is going to be great.
Yeah.
It cemented it for me.
In my opinion, Get Out should have won.
Mhm.
Uh,
I can't.
Best Picture?
yeah.
Best picture, yeah.
Yeah. So Jordan Peele just nails it. I honestly think he's creating a new form of horror film.
Mhm.
Just like a new subgenre within horror film.
And it's not elevated horror.
Oh, yeah.
Terrible.
Yeah.
terrible.
I had a really quick Let's Talk About Movies that'll be up a couple weeks after this, where we confront that very idea. And of course, the panel we did at Comic-Con about the idea of what is horror. Horror
Yeah.
is about the fears of society and fears of people. It doesn't have to be in your face scary.
Yeah.
Us is in your face scary though. I wanna
Right.
make
Yeah,
that
And
clear.
you know what? Sorry if I'm interrupting.
No, you
the
go for it.
themes of this movie, I think, the people are like, what is horror? And it's like, it's pretty scary. Fucking,
Trump.
the like looking at a reflection of this country.
I was just gonna say,
Yeah.
horror is a
That's-
mirror.
It's a mirror.
Horror
Yeah.
film has always been, horror genre has always been a mirror to
And-
what the hell is going on,
Yeah.
or has
Like-
gone on before,
Right, like Night
and
of the
could be
Living Dead.
affecting now. Yes.
Yeah, Night of the Living Dead. And like, there's so much to appreciate in this movie and what he was trying to say. Where it's like, you know, I love the line where like they ask them, the doppelgangers or the tethered, like, what are you? It's like, we're Americans. And I thought that was a really good like tipping point, like what this movie is about. Where it's just like, you know, the tethered are, you know, they are Americans, but they're the others the otherness in America. And the otherness, because I was talking to Diego earlier, that this country like has exploited for like hundreds of years. You know, it could be they're representative like a lot of like disenfranchised people. Like
Even to the Maze House being indigenous
Yeah.
in the beginning,
oh, he was telling me,
which
yeah.
right away I saw and I was like, oh no, fuck that. And then they changed it to Merlin, and I was like, oh, okay, cool.
But
Because
even
he
then,
was
it's
trying to
still
figure
like
out.
it changes one atrocity for the Native American shaman like caricature
Mhm.
to a grand wizard, and I don't think that's either. That's also, I think that's also intentional.
Mhm.
The fact that it goes from that to a grand wizard.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Just
And
saying.
it's-
yeah.
and
Thank you.
Just saying. I just the fact too that they're wearing like literal orange jumpsuits.
Oh, red
Red
jumpsuits.
jumpsuits.
Yeah.
Oh,
we were
the red,
talking-
my
it's
bad.
basically the
See,
mega
in my mind, I'm thinking orange jumpsuits.
Yeah.
It's literally that they're wearing
Hopefully.
jumpsuits.
They're wearing mega caps.
Yeah. Or no, I'm thinking prison
Oh.
industrial complex.
Okay,
These
yeah.
people are living in literal tunnels,
Mhm.
underground, prison, tethered, living shadow lives of what other people outside
Mhm.
of brick walls are living. And like, I just thought that was like,
Yeah, that's brilliant.
holy.
Yeah, and it's
crap,
like,
yeah.
you know, also the fact that like, you know, this country was like built on like exploiting a bunch of people, and they're literally living underneath people. So like, people literally are living on foundations built on these people.
Mhm.
'Cause they're living in the sewer.
And,
Yeah.
there is some. We're going to be hopping around a little bit because this movie, this
It's a lot.
isn't a bad thing, but
Yeah.
it's a little messier in how it presents its ideas. Get Out is very much about race, and specifically about that
Yeah.
and all its facets. Us is about us, so it's about a lot of
It's about
things.
America, yeah.
It's about America. It's literally
The
US.
title.
Yeah.
Right.
So we're going to be hopping around a little bit as we wind down the episode, but the movie kind of does too, and that's not a bad thing. It's just important to talk about a lot of
Right.
it. The end of the film, in the third act exposition thing, it is dropped that the government created them, and I heard some criticisms about that, like, well, why'd they even bring that up if it's not important? It is important.
Mhm.
The fact that the government created it and didn't do anything with it
Yeah.
because they realized their plan to control the populace failed,
Mhm.
and they allowed this thing to like grow.
Mhm.
And now is the boiling point. This is the event that breaks America, and I think that's horrifying
Yeah.
to think about the implications of what this movie is saying.
Reminds me of
Uh-huh.
the French Revolution,
Yeah.
where the government oppressed people so
Yeah.
much that
Mhm.
they one day were like, "Yo, fuck the government,"
Mm-hmm.
and they literally went and dragged people
Yeah.
out of their homes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because I was
And
gonna add the thing where, like, you know, how it's a commentary on America, where I love the addition of like Hands Across America, which I was telling Diego is the most like white guy '80s idea of how to combat
that's-
poverty.
Yeah.
Dude, that is Reaganomics.
Yeah,
through-
Reaganomics. Let's all
That's
hold
complete
hands.
Reagan right there.
It reminded me. There's a franchise mainstay, the Halloween series. Halloween 3 is very much a little bit ahead of its time. Not perfect, not nearly as good as us, but it's kind of about that Reagan era mentality of like capitalism is great because we all have
Big-ass
opportunities, but it's destroying like
This
lives.
whole country.
Us is about that and class
Yeah.
and how we're pitted against each other, but ultimately the people responsible for creating this problem nowhere to be seen,
Mhm.
and instead it's people against people
Mhm.
who had no say in the matter, and now they just have to survive. I was talking to Gene about it before too, where Get Out is about surviving
Mhm.
these atrocities.
Mhm.
Us is in a way a spiritual successor about how now surviving's not really enough. Now we have to
Right.
see what comes after, and hopefully we can make it through.
Yeah.
Because I think
Because they're
if
linked
we
up. They're
can't-
linked up at the end, man.
Yeah,
It's like-
we
it's
can't go
global.
back because
Mhm.
we
Yeah.
were talking about kind of like how it's about America, and then just the fact that at the ending of the movie, it's like it's the idea that this country was like built on like exploiting people. And it's
I've got. Can I jump in real
Yeah,
quick
sure,
for what you're talking about? Exploiting people 100%.
Mhm.
but this country was built on two specific things:
Yeah.
genocide and slavery.
Yeah. Well,
So
I was gonna say racism.
Yeah, but I'm talking about like these things that led to precursors to the
100%.
racism we have today and the exploitation that we have today.
Yeah.
It was
Sorry,
genocide and slavery. No.
I don't think I phrased
just
it well.
No,
Yeah.
you did. I just wanted to like add those
Oh,
terms because I love that you were saying
Right.
is based off of these people that have been shoved underground.
Mhm.
Like that is literally what our country was built off of: genocide and slavery, and we have been taught to push that down.
Mhm.
We're not even really taught that much in history books. They skip completely over the genocide of indigenous people, where they wiped out over 80% of the population.
Yeah.
Indigenous people now make up 6% of the U.S. population, and they nicely graze over slaves. Nicely graze over. Then we're civil rights
Freed
movement.
them.
We freed them. Emancipation Proclamation and civil rights.
Mhm.
But civil rights was about socioeconomic, and it was like, no, civil rights is a residue of your white ass ignorance from slavery times, and then so you're right, it's racism and
Right. It's like, this idea is like, there's certainly like a lot of good ideals in America, but it's like, it's a racist country, It was it's a problem. Yeah, Reagan was racist. Yeah.
Oh, Reagan was awful.
Awful person, awful. But it's the idea that this country is racist, and kind of making this current the Trump thing, where it's like in the Trump era people were surprised that I can't believe how racist this country is.
I don't recognize this country.
Yeah, I don't recognize. It's always been fucking racist.
Where have you been?
Yeah.
We've been living in the same country.
Yeah.
Are you Jimmy Fallon?
No, seriously. I mean, I think that's why this doesn't speak to the character of people across the board, but I do think it's telling that a lot of white critics respond to the film like, it was really good, but I didn't really buy into the story, or the third act didn't really. It kind of lost me a little bit. I'm like, I cannot imagine why. It doesn't mean they're not good people, but it certainly means that they're not aware.
Yeah, they
as much as they may think they are.
Exactly.
Education, huh?
Yeah, and I think the film does a good job of educating people.
Yeah.
On, we got to start taking a hard look at ourselves, because even the way it treats Lupita Nyong'o's character, Adelaide, who's revealed to have been one of the tethered, Red as a child, she made the switch. Maybe she could have helped other members of the tethered, but she still had that survival instinct for herself, and that is also like, hey, just because you look out for yourself to survive does not mean you're a good person. You're a good person. You might want to go and do more.
Also, too, shout out to Lupita because she's a Latina. Oh, technically, she's not
Afro-Latina?
indigenous. She's she is by inheritance of being like from Mexico, and that's why her name's Lupita and stuff. And her nationality, she speaks Spanish.
Yes.
Lupita's amazing.
Best actress also. By the end of the year.
Dude, she's amazing.
And then just when she saved the kid from the spoiler?
Yeah, spoilers all this.
When she saved the kid from the locker, she literally said everything's gonna go back to normal. Everything's gonna be okay.
And it's like it's not.
Yeah, it's like
after that, dude. What?
Right, and I guess you guys want to unpack the ending, because I love the ending that like
let's go.
The image of like the hands across America is like, when she said we're gonna things are gonna be normal, it's like it's never gonna be normal. It's like all the problems in this country have like come to roost, and like they're falling out.
And
so it's like
now no way you can go back.
Yeah, exactly. I love that. That was brilliant.
Also, Peele likes to end in cars. Everyone's always ending. Get out. People and this were all in cars.
Yeah, that's a good catch.
His cars are
okay.
Is he saying like maybe like
people are trying to
the direction they're going after that's kind of up in the air? Because like that family ain't going back home. They don't have a home to go back to.
Yeah,
probably.
The world has changed forever. I mean, you literally saw people linking up across the hill. Helicopters, like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah,
and that's like so perfect. That Red's like idea to like, because what she was saying, like, I want to send a message. Her message was like, when she was a kid, Hands Across America.
Yeah. She doesn't know it didn't work. That's
she knows it didn't work, but like it oddly worked to raise awareness on them.
It did, but here's the thing: Red, who is we realize now Adelaide originally, she only saw. It's kind of about how media interprets like our idea of like a better world. If as a child, she's not going to be able to like comprehend the possibility of that failing. That would be devastating, and it ultimately is. But she doesn't see it doesn't work. So even though the plan to like rise up is successful, there's no like strategy beyond that. And so because she only had the mentality of a child growing up, what else was she gonna do? She
was like a 9-year-old kid.
Yeah,
mentally, she's a 9-year-old kid.
And so like they rise up. America can never go back to the way it was. But we've eaten each other by that point.
Right.
There's what comes next has to be like. I wouldn't even know what to do next. Like, there's no positive.
Do you I was gonna add, do you feel like that's how America currently is? Like with when you elect
Shit.
yeah, you elect a fucking racist. How do you feel like what that's saying about like our current world right now? Because I'm trying to unpack that.
I'm ready for the world to end. I don't
Okay,
mean to be
yeah,
like
'cause-
completely cynical, but I was talking to Gina about this too before we did the episode. Like after Get Out, I was like, fuck yeah, let's fucking take on like racism in all its forms, liberal racism, which is a big part of that movie,
Yes.
like in your face racism, all of it. Let's tear it down.
Mhm.
After Us, I'm like, if we don't change the way we do things, the way we perceive certain like injustices or all injustices that go unspoken against, we kind of deserve what's
Yeah.
coming to
What we
us,
get,
and I
yeah.
kind of embrace it. If I'm being honest, not to be
Yeah.
like completely nihilistic, but I think
Well, yeah, there's
It's
there's
a
a lot of
scary thought.
truth in that where it's like
Plus-
we get what we deserve, you know.
Plus, climate change is real, man. Mother
Mhm.
Nature's coming after us. So
yeah, we
Fuck
might
it,
not
we
have
can
to
get-
kill each
yeah.
other.
But we may not. Mother Nature's swallow us all, and we're
But-
done,
Yep.
dude.
Yeah. What was your takeaway for like how it relates to our current world?
Sorry about the dog, by the way. We're recording
No.
with the windows open because we don't want to die.
It's the dog is just he liked us. That's
Yeah,
he's
exactly.
just commenting, dropping his stuff. He's like, I like the rabbits. I thought literally read and then seen them all holding hands. To me, that was like stitching
Mhm.
across the country,
Oh.
and just like it was a blood flow path of like, just this is your history.
Mhm.
You can't deny this.
Yeah.
You can't fight this.
You
You
can't.
can't
Oh,
shove it.
I like that.
And I think that was just like a literal. That is just what this country is right now.
Mhm.
We're literally living in the second civil rights movement right now. There's just a lot of people stepping up and calling out and drawing out bullshit and calling down white privilege and white supremacy and any hate speech from anybody on any side. I think it's just we're seeing the stitching, we're seeing the blood, we're seeing the lines that have been drawn through history, and we've always seen them. Like those white guys, I didn't know this happened.
Yeah.
Where have you been? But also to our education system, which has been influeed by white people, because history is
Like
written by
white-
the winners, right?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
white.
Don't trust whitey.
perspective.
Yeah.
Like this
Um, Yeah, so I think that's what's happening. We're starting to unseam, rip at the seams.
I like that a lot. 'Cause
Yeah,
even
I-
the first shot of the tethered, not to hijack your point, but
No.
like the first shot of the tethered on the beach, his hands have blood dripping on. He's
Yeah.
literally has blood in his hands.
Yeah.
It ain't subtle, people. You know,
Yeah.
like it's saying a very like
This
poignant thing.
100%.
Exactly.
Yeah. I also really like, this is a side note, this isn't about the stitching. I really like
just
the
go.
dad.
Let's just wind down and start praising the rest of it.
Yeah. The dad code switched.
The what?
The dad, he was code switching.
Yeah.
Number one, I got a 5 on it. That
Oh,
was
yeah.
it.
Never listening to that the same again.
Same again.
Yeah.
Ever, dude. Exactly. The dad came out when they were just standing there up the hill. And he was like, excuse me, this isn't funny anymore. My family's inside. We're scared. Call the police. They will be here in 14 minutes. I'd like you to please leave my property.
Mm-hmm.
He was all proper. And then he went and got the bat. And he was like, y'all got to get the fuck off of my lawn right now.
Yeah.
Like, I'm about to bash all y'all fucking brain. Like, he just code switched. And I thought that was really
That was-
cool.
yeah.
You want to
Just
get
to show
crazy?
Yeah, you
You
want
can get crazy.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And
Winston
Yeah.
Duke is the shit.
Winston
That was
Duke.
Everyone's great in this, but
Baku.
he's like the ultimate dad.
Yeah.
It's so great, man.
Yeah.
And I was gonna say the best use of NWA in a scene because what was it? Do you want to tell listeners?
Oh, okay.
what
So
you
my
thought?
my read on the fuck the police scene earlier in the film, when the attack's first happening at the Wilson's residence, vacation home, they call the police and the police never show up. I think that's
Yeah.
very intentional. Not just that it's a black family, but that the police are not going to
What are they
save
gonna do?
us.
What are they gonna
You know?
do? Yeah.
Yeah, what are they going to
Okay.
do in the face of anything like actually like?
And the police might be part of the problem.
And the police might be
Yeah.
part of the problem. Yeah. I think that's all in there.
Yeah.
And so even this white like upper class family that notably with a father who does not even want to get off the couch when he hears something dangerous.
Yeah.
And they notice how they die without a fight.
Right. And
Yeah.
also
Because
they're
they're
implied to be kind of racist when he goes like, "Oh, it's OJ outside," where it's like, "What?"
Yeah, like they're
Kinda.
friends, but they're like,
They say kind of racist shit.
you know, they're kind of
Yeah.
not really friends
Yeah.
with the family. And so the fuck the police song just coming on is like, I think it's literally Jordan Peele saying fuck the police.
Yeah. I was thinking it's dope that the kids team up. They're just like, let's fucking do this.
Yeah.
The
And-
kids step up, man.
Yeah, the kids step up, and I think it's okay to like indulge in that too. But I think the film's also kind of commenting on like, by the point where we're like, oh yeah, like we have a kill count and stuff like that. And it's like, then the film keeps going. You're like, oh yeah, these are real people down there that like did not even have the opportunity to like have their perspective on these things. Like they're still killing people, which is still inherently sad, even if they are the antagonists,
Yes.
not the ultimate villains. And so, like, all these different things, like, this is why it's, like, so much fun talking about this movie with you guys. Because one idea leads you down this way, and then he keeps going, and then unpacks, like, other doorways of ideas, and it's just, like, it doesn't stop, and it's going to be a film that's talked about forever.
Yeah. Maybe even classes will be taught about it.
I
think it was
so.
for Get Out.
That's what we need, basically.
Yeah.
Jordan Peele's going to save America.
Jordan Peele's 201 after 101 in Get Out.
Yeah, dude.
Oh, yeah. I think that's a great stepping stone to this movie.
And then Twilight Zone will be like 301 advanced.
Twilight Zone will be a double semester.
Yeah.
Like you have to take 1 and 2.
Right. And then Key and Peele will be an elective.
Oh. Keanu.
Keanu,
was cute. It was fine. It's cute.
I can't believe that guy.
So you guys like the movie?
I love the fucking movie.
Yeah. Did I like it as much as I like Get Out? No, but that also might have been the circumstances. Because I remember seeing trailers for Get Out and being like, is this a comedy? Is this horror? Is this a joke? And I remember just thinking I didn't want to see it. And then I remember going to the movies. Not that I didn't want to see it, but like I wasn't going out of my way to see it. And then I remember going to the movie theaters, and I think we were going to see a movie and we missed a movie. So then we just said, why not Get Out? And I think it was because I actually had free movie tickets at the time. Or it was a Movie Pass. Oh, remember Movie Pass?
Yeah, R.I.P.
I think it was a Movie Pass.
That's dating this episode.
Yeah. Guys, whatever you do, don't go back to Movie Pass. They're just going to exploit more money. Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice.
Fool me twice once.
Won't get fooled again.
What happened all the other 5 times I signed up for it? I'm just kidding.
Sorry, I can't interrupt you.
No.
And I think that's why we went, because it was just like, this is going to be free. So we went in, and I just remember sitting there, and like, I needed to pee, and I wasn't going to leave to pee.
Nice.
And I just went like, whoa. And then I was already ready to go, because I was like, oh, JP is back.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's kind of like picking a favorite director's favorite film, you know? Like, I don't... At the end of the day, I don't know what my favorite Spielberg movie or my favorite Michael Mann movie is.
My favorite...
It's hard, because I think they both, Get Out and Us, have so much to say on their own terms, in their own different ways, too. So it's like, if someone said they prefer Get Out, like, I get it. Someone says Us.
Either way, it's JP, right?
Yeah, I
get it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
My favorite Spielberg movie is the one where Spielberg doesn't go after people for wanting to make movies on Netflix. Academy.
Yeah. And then he's cool with Apple TV.
But dude, that broke my heart, because like Scorsese and Spielberg. Remember when
Scorsese,
you guys
got to fucking toss hands.
But remember when you guys were the young guys that were doing shit, and everyone was like, "What the fuck is this trash?" And you were like, "This is new film," and you made new film, and now we're out here trying to make new stuff, and you're like, "What the fuck is this trash?"
You're doing the exact same thing people did.
You become them.
Yeah.
What's that Christian?
Batman.
Batman. Yes.
You either die a hero, you live long to see something.
Yes.
Not to also date this episode, but we lost the great Agnes Varda, who was the mother of the French New Wave, and she pioneered a lot of like original film techniques and styles and the way just the films were presented. And so, rest in peace to her. She was magnificent, and also I think that's something to keep fighting for. Yeah, that's not directly related to us, but maybe it is. Yeah. I don't know. I got to go back and watch it again. Yeah. Maybe it's about filmmaking too.
Yeah, exactly.
There's probably a bunch of shit we're just missing in there. We got to start wrapping up because we got other stuff to do. Yeah, exactly. So we got to go save America. Also, we got to go make our own Us's. Oh yeah, our own Get Outs. I'll make sure to. I'm gonna be honest. As soon as the movie was over, I was like, I walked past a homeless person today and I did nothing. Like seriously, like I'm gonna make an effort to be more proactive and just helping people I see around the way. There's only so much I can do. I'm not made of money, but just help your fellow people. Every little bit counts. You don't even realize that person could have no interaction with any other person, and then you go up and you give them just like $1, and that changed their day because someone acknowledged them and validated them for a little bit, and that just goes. Because I remember the other day giving, I got extra food and I gave to the guy because he had a dog, and whenever I see him with the dog, that's it. Like my heart is sold. I'm gonna go help you. And that guy talked to me for like 20 minutes. He wouldn't let me go, and they just want to. They don't have anybody to talk to.
They're
sometimes.
They're like in Us, they're these people that have been just over are invisible to some people. Help
your fellow people of all binary identities. Just be be better. Let's all work to be better. And on that note, Cruz, thank you very much for joining us today. I think we
Thank
had
you guys for
a really
having
good episode.
Yeah.
Where can people find you? Plug one last time.
People can find me on social media, where they can find everybody, pretty much.
Yeah.
Well, the FBI does, at least.
Yeah.
You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Cruz W Castillo. It's the same across the board because I'm clever like that.
I like that. And that's good branding. Gene, what about your brand?
Yes, my branding is Gene9892. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, all across the board.
You can find me at twitter.com/CEWGOwaffles. Instagram, I don't really care about that actually. But check out the Patreon, the SoundCloud, YouTube, iTunes. Make sure to like, subscribe. If you didn't like this, like and subscribe anyways, because you might find something to do like. So thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Links down below to everything. We have been professionally unprofessional.